I used to think the hardest part was rejection. It wasn't. The hardest part was not knowing. Not knowing if she was flirting or just being nice. Not knowing if the eye contact meant something or if I was just seeing what I wanted to see. Not knowing whether to make a move or stay quiet and avoid embarrassing myself. And if you've ever misread that before, you know how bad that feels. Because the worst part is not just being wrong. It's realizing you built a whole story out of signals you never really understood. Here's the truth. When someone likes you, they usually don't say it first. Their body does. In small ways, fast ways. Ways most people miss because they're waiting for one big, obvious sign instead of noticing a pattern. And once you know what to look for, you stop guessing so much. You stop making every smile mean everything, and you stop missing what was actually real. I learned this the hard way. There was a time I was completely sure someone liked me. She laughed a little too quickly at my jokes, held eye contact a little longer than usual, always seemed to find a reason to come talk to me. So, in my head, it became a story. Not a possibility, a story. And that's where people get in trouble. Because once attraction mixes with hope, your brain stops observing and starts editing. You stop asking, what's actually here? And start asking, how can I make this mean what I want it to mean? That's how people misread friendliness. And that's how they miss real interest too. So I started paying attention to what people do before they've had time to manage themselves. Because most people focus on the obvious things, smiles, compliments, long conversations, but those can be controlled. The better clues are usually faster, quieter, and harder to fake. The first sign is so fast, most people miss it completely. It's the eyebrow flash. Most guys watch for the smile, the vibe, the conversation. But one of the most honest signals happens before all of that, right when they notice you. When someone sees a person they're genuinely happy to see, their eyebrows lift for a split second. Not dramatically, just a quick, subtle rise. What makes this sign so useful is that it usually happens before they've had time to control their face. Imagine walking into a room and the person you like spots you from across it. In that first half second before the smile settles in, before they act normal again, you catch that tiny lift. That doesn't mean they're secretly in love with you, but it is a real signal. It usually means your presence created an immediate positive reaction, and that matters. Because one smile can be politeness, one conversation can be friendliness, but a fast, involuntary reaction like that tells you something deeper. The next sign is one most people never think to watch. Their feet. It sounds strange at first, because when people talk about attraction, they focus on the face, the eyes, the smile, the voice, but faces are easier to manage. People know their face is being watched. Their feet usually aren't. So when someone is genuinely interested in you, their body tends to orient toward you even when the rest of them is trying to play it cool. You've probably seen this without realizing it. Someone is in a group conversation. Their shoulders are angled one way. They're technically talking to someone else, but their feet keep pointing toward one person. That usually means their attention is there too. And small details like that matter, because real attraction tends to leak out in quiet ways. The next thing to watch is whether they start mirroring you. This is one of the clearest signs of real interest because it usually happens without planning. Not like they're copying you on purpose, just in small, natural ways. You lean back, and a few seconds later, they lean back too. You slow your voice down, and they start matching your pace. You pick up your drink, and somewhere in the flow of the moment, they do the same. That kind of synchrony matters because people naturally sync with what feels emotionally important. Most guys think attraction has to look obvious, but a lot of the time, it looks like rhythm. It looks like two people gradually falling into the same tempo without trying to. And while mirroring does not automatically mean romance, it almost always means connection. And connection is where attraction usually starts growing. The next sign is less about body language and more about what their mind keeps. They remember the small things. Most people forget a huge amount of what they hear every day, not because they're cold, but because the brain filters constantly. It decides what matters and what doesn't. So when someone remembers a small detail you mentioned once, that usually means something landed. Maybe you casually mentioned a stressful week, your favorite coffee order, a story about your dog, your hometown, or a trip you want to take. Then days later, sometimes weeks later, they bring it up again. Not in a forced way, just naturally. Hey, how did that thing go? Is your dog okay now? You still planning that trip? That kind of memory hits differently because it tells you they weren't just hearing you, they were storing you. And that's a strong signal, because attention is expensive. People remember what feels emotionally relevant to them. The last sign is one you have to read with maturity because context matters. But when someone likes you, they often find small, natural reasons to get closer, not in some dramatic movie way, and not anything inappropriate. Just subtle moments of physical closeness that happen a little too consistently to be random. They stand a little nearer than they need to. They lean in when they could have stayed back. Their arm brushes yours, and they don't rush to pull away. They find tiny reasons to stay in your space a second longer. One moment means nothing, but repeated closeness, that usually tells you their body feels good around you. And that's the real point of all this. Stop looking for one giant sign. That's the mistake. One smile can be politeness. One long conversation can mean nothing. One moment of eye contact can be random. But patterns are different. Patterns tell the truth. If someone lights up when they see you, keeps orienting toward you, mirrors your energy, remembers the small things, and keeps finding reasons to stay close, that's no longer just your imagination filling in the blanks. That's real information. And the goal is not to become paranoid and overanalyze every interaction. It's the opposite. It's to stop guessing blindly, to stop turning hope into evidence, to stop missing what's actually right in front of you. Because people who like you usually do reveal it. Not perfectly, not loudly, but consistently. Their mouth may be careful, their body usually isn't. So the next time you're wondering whether someone likes you, don't chase one magical sign. Watch the pattern. That's where the answer usually is. If this helped you, subscribe for more videos on attraction, psychology, and social skills. And remember, when someone likes you, the biggest clue is usually not one moment. It's the consistency of many small moments pointing the same way.